It's actually the Congress.
You're asking if we're being invaded.
I'm asking.
You want to call Congress and see if we're being invaded?
I'm asking a basic constitutional
We'll be taken over
question.
before they ever get to the committee.
Who gets to decide whether the United States is at war? The answer is Congress.
I'm talking about if we're being invaded.
When the president
can't use
says
colloquialisms.
we're at war, he has to
show we're actively
proof,
at war,
and
not
really
a
what he needs to do is go to Congress.
Well, you guys discuss it in committee. We'll let in another 20 minutes.
Wait a second, though. I thought the genius of our system was that we weren't beholden to one guy's opinion. That the genius of the American system of government was that we had 3 co-equal branches, and in those co-equal branches, decisions were made about how we go about doing things. Now, we want to tear that to shreds so that we can kowtow to one guy's opinion, then we are in a monarchy. We're being ruled.
What's the distinction between strikes and whether the United States is actually at war with an entity or a nation? And there is a distinction. Now, nobody is saying here Trump can't deport people because, Barack Obama deported a lot of people.
And that's
Sochi.
absolutely.
He deported a lot of people, and he did so based on the existing law. It is possible to do.
It's not an applicable law.
Go ahead.
Because
As a
no one's
lawyer, I
been
would
creative
like
enough
to
or
answer
bold
this.
enough to do it.
That law has to be used at wartime when there's
I'm
an
sorry,
invasion.
but war's different than it was in 1812.
No, we cannot use colloquialisms to say, we're generally at war.
The Houthis are not a country, and yet we're bombing them.
But
It's
let's
not
be
how
clear
it works
about this.
anymore.
Nobody
We're
is
being
saying
invaded
that Trump doesn't
every
have
day.
the
Well, we
ability
were.
to
Trump fixed
deport
it.
people. He has the ability to deport people, and he should, right? There was a lot of people coming in that should not be here. He has the right to do that. But he's trying to use this act to get around due process. And the court is saying this act does not apply. They're not telling him not to deport. They're saying use the process that's in place because this act does not apply.
As much bureaucracy and red tape as possible.
No,
it's not bureaucracy.
It's
not
It's the law. What we're trying to do is use the law. The law. I mean, look, is it such a big problem to say you can do things, but you have to do them lawfully? There's a process.
We
to
think
them.
this is lawful.
But it's not.
No, but the
though.
court just said it's
one
not.
The court just said that
judge,
it's
one stupid judge, and I want to see what the rest of them say.
You know it's stupid.
Why
You know
is
it's
that
not
stupid?
I
Because he
guess we have to
disagrees with
remind
the
everybody
assessment
here
of
that
Donald
Trump
Trump.
appointed this judge.
I don't care.
Okay?
Again,
So this is a Trump-appointed judge.
He's not infallible. Judges make stupid decisions all the time.
Well, okay,
It's
how
really
about
not
this?
actually that
So
big
you
of a
say the
deal.
judge
They
is
said to
stupid.
go back
How do we
to
know
Congress.
how do we know that the president is stupid?
I'm sure that's your opinion.
Well, it certainly is.
But he won the election.
So what does
I
that
don't
mean?
think anybody. Listen, I don't think anybody is stupid. I think all 3 branches have
definitely
the
some
right
people
to
that are stupid.
operate the way they want. I think the president of the United States
Introduce you to
has
my
the
brother.
right to operate based on his opinion because he's voted in. But the judicial branch has the right to interpret the meaning of the law the way they see it.
Can I
That's
ask
their
you a
right.
question? Let me
And
ask you a question.
to make proof of requirement.
This
Due process
is
of
a key
requirement.
question. What if another group of people, say not illegal aliens, but just some other group from somewhere else, actually came to the shores of the United States, not a nation, but say a group, any kind of group, and actually did come ashore and try to invade, I don't know what else you would call it, the United States? Would you run to court and ask a federal judge if the president of the United States can we defend the nation now?
But that's
can
not
we
what-
stop
that's
these?
not what we're talking
It
about.
is. They're coming
That's so
across.
fucking
So
stupid.
you were also
so fucking
generalizing here. You were
Yes.
talking about, yes, I agree with you. I agree with you, Scott.
But what's the
that
difference?
Hold on,
What's
listen
the
to me.
Because there will be a
If they're-
declaration of war
if
and then the
they're-
act would
if
happen.
they're- If there are
Hold on,
gay
Scott and
members
Dante, let
and
me
if
touch your
they're
hand.
killing or raping women in this country, they should absolutely be deported, and there should be deportation orders, and there should be a process, and there is a process to deport them. You are saying that every person that is here illegally
Yes.
is raping people, and
No,
that
I
is
did
not true.
You lied.
Yes,
No,
you're
but
saying
that's
they're all
always-
part of these gangs.
lying.
They
Well,
all,
you're-
that-
you're-
this is
Take it
they're
back. You're not
invading
what I
our
said.
country. They're doing all these things.
You're certainly
They are
associating them.
They're not all violent, but they are all
not all
criminal.
violent.
But
They are
they
not
are
all
all- but
violent.
they are all
And
criminal.
everybody, whether they are 2 years old.
Yeah, but that's the perception. The perception of individuals, like Scott Jennings, it's like they're trying to portray all undocumented immigrants who are here illegally are just rapists and murderers without any proof. That's what they want the public to think of when they think of undocumented immigrants. And I mean, like, it's successful. I would say a lot of a good portion of America probably thinks that all immigrants are rapists and murderers because of the lies fed by individuals like Scott Jennings, and Donald Trump and Caroline Levitt. I can't pronounce. It's things like that. They give you zero context. They will tell you that two things. This happened to Lincoln Riley. Therefore, everybody who's coming over across the border illegally is going to do the same thing or commit the same crime that happened to Lincoln Riley, because you pushed Lincoln Riley and you weaponized the Republican Conservative Party. They've weaponized that tragic thing that happened as a tool to push people to support this anti-immigration or anti-immigrant fucking propaganda that they're doing now currently.
Or whether they are 90 years old and have been in our country the entire time, they deserve a process. The criminals.
I'm sorry, what process did they follow to get here? The process of breaking our laws?
Well, because there is a law, there are laws in order, and there are deportation proceedings to get these people out of our country.
Listen how long you want this to last.
The 99-year-old who is here did
It'll
not
last
invade
forever.
our country.
All right, Batia, let me let you get a word in.
Well, to me, like, the energy in defense of these gangbangers.
I'm not defending
gangbangers. Every single one of them are gangbangers.
I feel like that where it's like, you know, first they came for the guy who beats his wife, and I said nothing because I don't beat my wife. And then they came for the guy who said, I love killing Jews. And I said nothing because I don't love killing Jews. And now they came for the gangbangers, and I said
I understand that everything she just said she cannot support, like not one bit of it. Every single thing that she just says, and there is 1,000%.
I come from a place.
This is
where
1,000.
A
I
whole
fucking
bunch
hate the fact that
of people, they're American citizens, but they're thrown away.
Stop it.
They're thrown away because they might have committed crimes, because they got in trouble when they were young.
You should be the angry.
Listen,
Okay. Wow. Yeah, the lag is crazy. No, but like I can't. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about. She literally sat there and just, you know, lied her ass and told us like two things that she has not yet to proven. They want to call Howard Garcia, oh, he's a woman beater, or he's a gang member, still cannot provide any proof for any of these. And I'm assuming they're talking about Khalil when they're talking about harm towards Jews. Again, cannot prove that. It's just the talking points that they want to push to get people to be afraid of Palestine, pro-Palestine protesters, or to be afraid of undocumented immigrants. This is why I fucking despise her, because I hate individuals who just, their voice irks me, but at the same time when they speak, it's nothing but bullshit. No substance, no facts, no proof, nothing. Just like a soulless statue. Just look at her. She looks like a fucking statue. And fuck you, like, because you were doing just perfect the past couple days.
Yes,
I'm not-
that they care about the gangbangers and not those people.
no, what I care about
They
is
should be
that
forced
there
to
is a
be
system of laws that is supposed to protect the due process of those people.
Yeah.
And that has to matter
I
more
am
than
angry
what
about
more
that.
than what
I'm
society
angry that there are black
thinks
people
about
in
whatever
prison
they
who
have
didn't
done.
get due
Hold on a
process.
second, hold
I
on.
don't know why the Democrats are
So
not
why is it
angry
okay for
about
anybody
that.
else to not get
Because
due
they're
process?
not.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, these motherfuckers will weaponize anything. Now you're bringing up the black community when we're specifically talking about immigration. That's crazy. But leave it. There's no comparison there. There's no comparison. Now you're angry. Now you're angry that black people are being mistreated by this fucking government system. Any other fucking conversation, she'll probably be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not the same as it was during Jim Crow. Jim Crow doesn't exist no more. I think black people are just complaining. You know, racism exists, but it's not all the time. I mean, let's get rid of DEI, affirmative action. This fucking talking point's just fucking stupid. It's fucking dumb. Excuse the lag. The funny part.
Essentially, that you don't like the way that the law is applied in this instance, and you would like to change it, which is fine.
I'm not saying that, Abby. I'm saying every other district judge has ruled in Trump's favor.
That's not true. That is absolutely not true. That is not true. Nobody, no other judge, and let me clarify this. This is important. No other judge.
Let me let Dante finish,
No other
and then we gotta
judge
go.
has issued an opinion on this specific issue.
Yes, they've not ruled against it.
No. What the Supreme Court said was the judge that it was in front of did not have the authority to make this decision. It wasn't in the right district, so he sent it to Texas. This is the first judge that's ruled on this actual case of whether or not this rule or this law applies, the Enemies Aliens Act. And they said it does not apply. This is the first time it was ruled on
Six other
that.
federal judges have issued provisional orders on this issue of whether and how, but really specifically how.
But it's
the
a
Trump
constitutional question, though,
administration
because they
can
think
deport these people.
Because you all are debating the statutes and the judge's right to oversee a statute. What the Trump administration is arguing is that this is a foreign policy issue, and we have sole right under the foreign policy